Welcome to Greek Verse a Day. Today we finish up with Revelation chapter 2 with verse 29. So, as always, I'll start with a slow reading, move to a little bit faster reading, give you a chance to pause and do some work on the verse yourself, and then I'll jump back in when you unpause and offer my comments. We have ha, ekon, us, akusato, ti, ta, pneuma, lege, tais, ekklesiais. Once again, a little bit faster. Ha, ekon, us, akusato, ti, ta, pneuma, lege, tais, ekklesiais. So at this point, you can pause and see what you can make of this verse. It may look familiar to you because it's repeated from earlier in Revelation. All right, so if we were to mark this by looking for the main verb in the sentence first, we're going to have this word right here, akusato, be our main verb. This is going to be an aorist, active, imperative, so a command. Third person singular from akuo. So we don't really do a lot of third person commands in English. So when we translate these in these third person singular imperatives from Greek, which are much more common in Greek, we normally do it something like let him, her, or them, whatever the verb is. So let them hear is going to be our verb part of this sentence. And then the subject of the one who's being commanded to hear is going to be ha, ekon, us. The one having, so here we have, let's do it in a different color. The one having, we have a present active participle, nominative masculine singular. And we get that, our clues to the noun or adjective stuff, the case, the gender, and the number of our participle from the definite article that directly precedes it. So the one having, and then the one having us, this is going to be the object of the participle. Remember, participles can take objects because they are part verb. And us here is going to be an accusative neuter singular. So we normally associate this us ending with an accusative plural, but in this case it's actually a singular. So if you were to look this up in the dictionary, what you would find is that you have us, otas, ta. So there's quite a bit going on here in just our lexical form. Excuse me. So this is going to be in the dictionary, this is going to be our nominative form. And then remember, with third declensions, we're also given the genitive because the nominative form often looks the weirdest in the third declension. It sort of doesn't match up. It's the odd man out when it comes to different forms. So the root, the genitive gives us the root, which is actually ot right here. And then this os is the third declension genitive ending from sasia, esonsias. And then ta is going to tell us that it's neuter. And because we know it's neuter, we know that actually us in the nominative is going to look the same in the accusative. So the nominative and the accusative are going to be us. And we see that repeated up here, that this is the accusative singular, which looks exactly like the nominative singular of this word us, which means ear. And I believe you do not get a note on this in this particular verse because you've probably gotten a note on it previously in Revelation. So in any case, we have the one having an ear, a singular ear, let him hear. Let that one who has an ear hear. And then what is heard, so if this is the subject of the verb, all of this is in essence going to be the object of the verb. In this case, T is an interrogative pronoun. Remember, normally we expect T to introduce a question, but in this case, and in some other, I should say, in some other cases, sometimes T can also substitute for a relative pronoun, or it can function like a relative pronoun. Remember, a relative pronoun, who, what, which, that. And that's what's going on here. Let him hear what ta pneuma, the Spirit, says. So if we have a sort of clause or sentence within our object here, what, let's mark it with a different color. The Spirit is going to be our subject of the verb lege, what the Spirit says, and then to the churches. And so you could think of T also as sort of the object of what is said, and then the indirect object in the dative here, tais ecclesiais, to the churches. So to put our whole sentence back together here, we have the one having an ear, let them hear what the Spirit is saying to the churches.